we are going to get it going.
I mean, bowling something like this where it's just that hard and you can basically survive mentally, physically, emotionally. It's awesome.
That's that high flush pocket strike, and that's going to do it.
They came back in the end and were able to finish the job. That shows why that they're a nationally ranked program.
Got into this championship match and now are just absolutely putting on a show.
This tournament live stream is a special presentation of Bowling with the Pfeff.
Entertainment Center in Owatonna, Minnesota. Thanks so much for joining us. If you are watching live, feel free to utilize that live chat feature and let us know where you're tuning in from, who you're cheering for, all that good stuff. The Advancers round is 4 games, and after that we will cut down to the top 5 and have a stepladder final right in front of us here on lanes 11 and 12. So that's how we got here. They did re-oil before this shift, and you can see the pattern that they are attacking today. The 2023 USBC Masters pattern, a 46-foot oil pattern that has played true to its name. Boy, let me tell you, there have been some challenges out here for these people. Just, you know, some high scores, but a lot more low scores. And when you have something like this, a sport pattern, a highly competitive environment, and that variable of how is that lane going to break down that you don't know until you know, that's what you get, really. You know, you get a great challenge that these 10 competitors have taken on head on and conquered, at least for the moment. Nick Hogan, howdy, Mr. Pfeff. Hello, glad to see you here watching us live. We've seen some great bowlers from Twin Cities metro area and greater Minnesota. Competing here today. And it's been fun. It's been a blast watching these guys do their thing. Practice is just about to end here. So we will get set for Advancers round game 1. And with only having 2 prepare, this should go quite a bit faster than our qualifying rounds did. So you got that. Bowling for Life 365. Hey, Pfeff, it's me, Connor. Glad to join the stream. Glad to have you on here live, Connor. He says he's excited because he has an 8-game tournament tomorrow, And his birthday's coming up on October 20th, and he'll be 21. Well, happy early birthday, Connor. Glad to hear you've got a tournament tomorrow. Good luck in that. And glad to see you joining us live. Always appreciate it. Connor was one of the guests on the show. You can see his episode and more than 170 others if you go through the videos on this page, on this YouTube channel. Really glad to have been doing this as much as I have, and having this lead to some tournament live stream opportunities like the one you're watching right now. So in front of us on lane 11, you've got Chad Nelson, who was the third qualifier overall at plus 92, and he starts things out with a strike on lane 11. He'll be crossing with Brent Newman here. On the pair off to your right, you've got Josh Kennedy and Brent Gustafson. So some great competitors right here in front of us. Again, this will be the last link you'll have to navigate to. This will take us all the way to the finish. From here, after the 4-game advancers round, you get to the top 5 competitors who will bowl a stepladder final. So 5 seed versus 4 seed, winner against the 3 seed, winner against the 2 seed, winner against the 1 seed, and that's the champion, winner of that. Right here on 11 and 12. So Nick says he's been watching most of the day, and the do-do-do-do-do-do-do in the background from that loud game is not Yeah. Yeah, I remember that from last year. I'm guessing that's a popular game. I mean, they keep it around, right? Yeah, the background. Connor wants to know, what bowling center is this? This is Spare Time Entertainment in Owatonna, Minnesota. So if you can picture where the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul is, we're about, I would say, a good 45 or 50 minutes straight south of the Twin Cities metro area. It's an 18-lane center divided into 2 sections. The larger side, the high side, has
front 3. Here he goes. Young time.
He has that's lanes 7 through 18, and that's where we're situated right here. Lanes 11 through 14 is what we're focusing on. And then they also have a smaller section, lanes 1 through 4, that's behind a wall. And those lanes are right now being utilized for open bowling. So despite the fact that you've got open bowlers, it does really feel, kind of like the tournament is the only game in town, which is nice. It's nice for me, and it's nice for these competitors, because it takes a high degree of focus to do what they do. This tournament, of course, part of the 10K Larson Siding Windows and Roofing Quintuple Crown. And there is a point system for the bowlers. They gain points by performing in each of 5 events, including this one. So you can see those standings right here. And among the points leaders, you got William Jones in the advancers round field right now. Chad Nelson also in that field. So they'll be adding on to the points they already have. And Jones, as you may have interpreted by seeing that he was the points leader, was the winner of the first event, which was last week in St. Cloud, Minnesota at Southway Bowl. Brock had mentioned that Brandon Cryer, who is on lanes 17 and 18 right now, had the front three. He just left a wiggling 4-pin that he'll take aim at in the 4th frame. So anyway, back to some of the background on this. These are all scratch events, and there is extra money that is awarded to the points leaders at the end of the 5 events. So it behooves these competitors to keep on bowling, return for the last 3 events of the series, and stack those points and try and get their hands on some extra cash. As far as today's event is concerned, the champion is going to go home with $1,500. As I had mentioned before, the pins do carry over from qualifying. So it is Matt Payne, the high qualifier today, who has the advantage because he's coming in here with more pins than the rest of the field. But it was a wild end to qualifying, that's for sure. You had guys who were in the cut bowling not so well, and guys who were out of the cut putting up huge games, highlighted by a 290 from Brandon Cryer in the 6th and final game of qualifying to go from 60 down to 30 up. Josh Kennedy trying to will those pins down over there off to the right on 14. We saw him bowl a monster 279 game in the 2nd game of the B squad qualifying. But really, in the end, you had several guys shooting big numbers like that. Brandon Cryer with 290. I believe Briley Howe had 277 and in the first in the A squad and 279 in the B squad. That 279 that Kennedy had, he had the front 9 or 10? I think it was front 9. And just absolutely stoned a 9-pin. But them's the breaks. So starting this thing a little early at not quite 5:30 here means, or at least allows me to presume, that the stepladder gets started a little early, which means Mr. Pfeff gets on the road a little early. Always a good thing since I'm 2 hours away from home. So that's Chad Nelson off to the left, covering up the 9-pin. He's got 87 through 4 with the spare up in the 5th. Little golf clapping up here from the other bowlers who have congregated to find out who's going to finish where. So 10 advancers, all will cash. Whoever finishes in 10th will go home with $200. And increasing money for each higher spot all the way up to the champion, who will leave with $1,500. Our defending champion, Brady Stearns, was here and bowling on the B squad. He did not make the cut this time around. And William Jones, who you see off there to the left, just left the 245. He was the first champion in this year's Quintuple Crown Series. He was a winner last week in St. Cloud at Southway Bowl.
I think I finally got a few minutes. We're just about caught up with the financials.
Okay.
That's always half the day right there.
Yeah.
We got 3 or 4 on a pair. It tends to move a little faster, so you're always punching scores in.
Sure. Tournament director Al Houston here. Just want
I like that 8-game pace.
Yeah.
Take my sweet time. Or
That's
8
right.
people on a pair pace, I mean.
Right. Yeah. Here are some of the upcoming events. They're at Lacrosse on the 23rd of November, the holiday match games on December 21st, and JMO's in Faribault, Minnesota, February 1st of 2025, a brand new event. And that's because we've been able to, expand this thing and get us to a quintuple crown rather than just the quadruple crown. So, yeah. But yeah, we're in Advancers game 1. If you're just joining us, Tournament Director Al Houston here. Wow, what a wild finish to qualifying.
And there's a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot. It's not that far from 10th to 5th right now to make the stepladder.
Yeah.
So, really, anybody here's got a shot right now. You got Brent and I would say Matt are probably going to make the ladder. They're more likely to do it. We're almost 200 over, but the next one I think was Josh at 60 over. So from 3rd, I think all the way down to 10th, there's about 100 pin swing. So anybody can do that in 4 games.
Yeah. And that's what makes this format so cool, is that you've really got chances, multiple chances to rise, to fall, to rise back up again, as evidenced by what Brandon did at the end of qualifying.
Oh yeah, 290 out of the gates to sneak in. Yep. Poor Brent, he lost the high game pot with a 279 to a 290. That happens.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
See who he got right now. There's Brent right there. He's drinking his loose line. He looks like a beer rep or beer sales rep.
Yeah.
Oh boy. This is always a good day when you got your local hometown hero Chad in the building, you know.
Sure.
Doesn't bowl league anymore. It's bowl league for a lot of years. So about the only time you see him is if he's picking up balls in the pro shop from Briley, or if he's bowling a tournament.
But I mean, to have the tournament here, he knows the tendencies
Yeah.
of the house, and
Yep.
I mean, he's difficult to beat anywhere, but especially here. And he's been keeping it clean in this first game of the advancers round, 106 through 5 and spare up in the 6th.
Yeah. Hey, 1,500 for first, so chunk of change right there. I don't think anybody's gonna be upset about that.
Not at all. Not at all.
You know, and the thing is, the money's pretty evenly well spread out too. So 200 to cash, fair, I think. And
Yep.
500 to make the step ladder. So it's good money all around. Big thank you to our sponsors, obviously Briley with Champions Pro Shop. And then Larson Sidings, my good buddy Shelby. He's kind of the creator, he's the investor, I would say, for the series altogether. So thanks to them, you know, we got rock solid prize fund.
And then at the end of the series, you take the points leaders and they get extra money too.
Yep. You got to bowl at least 3 of the events to qualify. All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. We'll go from there. Yeah, 3 of the events to qualify and a chance to win, I believe, 1,000 on top for that points leader. So plenty of incentive to keep on bowling. Wow. Half pocket hit that just did not take the corners down, and yet another pocket 7-10 on this pair. We've seen quite a few of them on 11 and 12. So 108 through 7 for Brent Newman, who was really toward the top of the leaderboard the whole B squad. Started out with, I believe, a small 200 and then shot 258. No, 258 in the first game that was. Yeah, 258, 222. Had a rough third game, but then bounced back with a 256. He was cruising toward the cut. Great shot and got that 9 to fall, so he'll take that strike and get ready for his 9th and 10th frame coming up. It's got to be a good feeling, though, as Al had mentioned, with the pins carrying over and having a huge cushion to get you into the step ladder. Obviously, you want to perform, but the swing gets a little looser when you're up by that many pins. Spare in the 8th for Nelson. He's got 146 through 7 with that spare up. At the conclusion of the advancers round, once they tabulate all the scores, you'll see the stepladder final live right here. Same link. And that will be right in front of us on 11 and 12. So you'll definitely want to stick around for that. If you're watching live, don't forget to utilize that live chat feature. Let us know where you're tuning in from, who you're cheering for, what you think of the event so far. And give this video a like. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Typically, we do a weekly interview-based live stream show talking to bowlers of varied skill levels about their story in the sport and their thoughts sometimes on hot-button issues in bowling. It's a good time. By subscribing, you get to be among the first to know when we go live and upload new content. Just hit that link in the live chat if you're watching live and hit the notification bell. Easy to do, doesn't cost you anything, and is a big help to me as I continue this content journey. Couple of 160s to our left with, I believe that was William Jones and Keaton Bieri.
Mine was greatly aided by the bumpers. Well, so are mine.
And when the scores get updated, you can find them on the Quintuple Crown Facebook page. There's the link to that in the live chat for those of you watching live. He did put up those final qualifying results in there, so you can see game by game who finished on top and who did not make the cut. So a tough go on this pair for Brent Newman, who finishes with 155. And for Chad Nelson, it's a 202. The bowlers move one pair to their right after each game. So over the course of the 4 games in the advancers round, they won't hit all the pairs, but most of them. Here's Keaton Bieri collapsing the 210 to start out the second game of the advancers round. Now here's William Jones. Light hit that didn't quite take down the 7. And these guys are back on the fresh. The re-oil was done right after qualifying. And a 2-8-10 for Brent Newman to start out game 2. So Newman was the number 2 qualifier at plus 184 with a pretty healthy 92 pin lead over Chad, but he did make up quite a few of those pins last game, almost 50 of them. Cover for Jones, who starts this game out spare. And Bieri sprays pins all over the deck and takes down the 10. So a double for him starting out, the front two. Nelson puts 10 back, and he starts his game out with a double. And another strike for Bieri, front three now. He was the number at, I believe, minus 23. Yep, minus 23. So he's got some work to do to get into contention for the stepladder, which is the top 5. And Brandon Cryer was 5th seed out of qualifying at plus 30. Nice trip 4 for Jones. So it's not match play in the traditional sense where you're fighting for bonus pins, but I mean, especially when you look at that first game with, Brent and Chad. I mean, Chad was able to get quite a few pins back and give himself a foundation to possibly leapfrog Brent. But anything can happen, and usually does. So, these three final games of the advancers round will tell a lot.
She was talking about maximum.
Oh, wow.
That's 4. That's 4.
But it's what you did after. That's what matters.
298, second game of double.
Yeah. I mean, that's Thomas Cleveland talking about 3 consecutive gutter balls at Nationals. I'd take what he did. It was much better than what I did. Hey, Bub the Best. That's young Carson. Hi, Bub. Hope you're having a good day. So Bieri had an open on the right lane, and now he's in trouble on the left with a 210. That is you. Literally. Oh, Parker and Luca say hi. Hey, guys. Good to see you taking an interest in what Carson's father is doing on this wonderful Saturday afternoon. Nice cover of the bucket there by Mr. Nelson. He's got 76 through 3 and a spare up in the 4th. Smacking out the 10 there for William Jones. 108 through 5 with that strike in the 6th. And Yeri trying to get that ball to climb the hill, and unfortunately goes light and trips out the 2, leaving himself an 8-10 split. We've seen some guys bounce some stuff out of the pits here today. Almost saw Victor Cortez make a 7-10. Bounce the 10 out of the pit, put it right in front of the 7. Not this time, as he just gets the 10 out. So he's got 107 through 6, and will try to rebound here in the 7th. On the right, Brent Newman, who hit his first strike of the game after 3 consecutive opens, turns it into a double. There's a strike for Mr. Nelson. 96 through 4 with that strike up in the 5th. And there's a double for William Jones. Light hit for Jones, but he does get that 2 pin out. He'll just have the 10. Hi, Terry.
Mr. Pfeffer, you are a superhero.
I'm just a guy who sits in a chair and talks all day. These guys are the superheroes.
I'm going to be the first one to tell you that these chairs are not the most comfortable to sit in for, what are we going on, 8, 9, 10 hours?
Yeah.
Well, that's all right.
You know, stand up a little here and there.
Well, I said I'm a little out of shape. I don't work here as much anymore, so I'm used to putting, 15 hours on the floor here and feeling a little my age right now. I hate to say that.
15 hours is a long time. I don't think this will go on for 15 hours today.
Well, that's what's about this center, because it's it's kid heaven.
Yeah.
It's just, when you start hitting the winter months, this place is insanity. So a 15-hour shift is not, just today, we have 2 weddings, like massive weddings that we're catering.
Oh, wow.
500 people.
Jeez.
And we had 2 external, like one went to a factory catering and the other one went to Owatonna Ford.
I'd already forgot about
So
you've got a friend live on the stream saying hello. The old guy from Florida.
Oh, it's funny to see you as Ronell. I was just talking about you with Ed Mahaniel.
Yeah.
Very, very funny. He was trying to figure out which one of you were younger. I think I put him onto this. Ron used to own Johnson's Bowl in Faribault.
Oh, okay.
And now he is living the luxury life in Fort Myers.
Is that what became JMO's?
No, there used to be 2
There were
centers
2.
in
Okay.
Faribault. Yeah. Now I think it's maybe the Elks Club. I'm not sure.
Ah, okay.
But yes, my pro shop is a halal deli because I had a pro shop there at the time.
Ah, okay.
But everything develops, everything changes.
He said, not me.
Is Ed still here? That'd be funny. I don't know. I think Ed said he's going to be 84, Ron. So it's getting up there. This has got to be, 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 games for these guys?
If they bowled both shifts, yep.
Well, Briley bowled, and then he bowled back.
Yep.
And I believe he made the cut with both of his entries, I think.
Okay.
But he was very close.
That's not the one we have in print here isn't totally up to date,
but he wasn't happy with the first one, so.
sure. Fortunately, here. So this was the
Nope.
first one.
Nope.
So he was just out with it. So it is a good thing that he bowled back because now he's in.
Wish I could get Briley to stand in front of the camera so Ron could see what he looks like.
He's not far from us.
Briley.
Ron says he's 86.
You win, Ron. You win. Yeah. Ron reports in his scores
Okay.
to me once a week. And he just made the cut, and I think it was I don't know if it was, there's like a senior nationals, and I think he made the cut in the regional, maybe.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, Ron, you can maybe clarify that. But he bowled really well.
Yeah.
I think he averaged 200.
Okay.
Sent me the score, so.
Cool.
It's fun to see, I'm up there. I call myself the older generation, but it's fun to see the older generation actually being successful. I mean, we had a gentleman in this house who, I think this year is the first year he decided he couldn't bowl any longer. And that's because he couldn't drive too well. And he was 93.
Wow.
But he bowled seniors on Mondays and on Fridays. So
Okay.
that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Riley, walk in front of the camera. So Ron Johnson. Oh yeah, Bradley's going to be bowling on this pair, Ron. You'll get to see the youngest cowboy. That's wonderful that all your listeners are from all over.
Yeah. Yeah, we even got the kid to check up on me.
He's probably like, "Where are you? Bring
no.
supper."
Oh no, he knows.
Oh.
He knows.
That's usually how it is with me. Bradley's like, "What state are you in right now?"
Yep.
No, I've actually been home quite a bit the last month, but that'll change again, you know.
For sure. 2-11 for Jones in the second game of the advancers round. Vieri finishing up his 10th frame here. And
it was fun to see.
Jake wants to know what happened to Brady in the last game. So I can tell you his score. At least I think I can, if I can find it here.
Out, but I don't remember why he
did he?
Out.
Okay, yeah, it looks like he withdrew.
Yeah. I don't think he was feeling well, actually.
Okay. Yeah, and he had 159 the game before that. Yeah, he's of qualifying. So he had a 159 in the 5th game of qualifying, and then it says a 1. I'm assuming that's because you have to enter some value in there to keep it from erroring out. But yeah, that denotes that he did not bowl in the last game.
No. This has been a really fun day, though. A lot of high-level bowlers. It's been a very tough shot.
Yep.
There were a lot of low scores.
Sure.
And it was fun to watch some of the I'm going to say in this group, some of the middle of the road bowlers who learned a lot today. Learned that they, I can't think of his name right now. Josh Peters.
Yeah.
Learned that he could go a lot farther right than he thought he could ever go.
And he was having success late.
He was.
In the
and
round.
He was struggling a little bit. And he called me over and he said, what do you think? He goes, I haven't had a double the whole game. And I said, well, the best thing you can do is look around at who's successful. Especially look around at who's successful that throws the ball.
Like you do.
Like you, right. And so we looked at a couple different people. William Jones and I can't remember if it was Brent or I think it was Brent Newman. And we kind of watched and I said, and then you got to be fluffy. And he goes, oh, what does that mean?
Soft hand.
I said, you just had to be soft.
Yep.
I said, up the outside and soft. And the first time he went over there, he did exactly what I would have thought he would have done and pulled it right into the middle. Yeah. Like it's not going to get it. It's not going to come up, right?
Right.
Sorry, my linguistics are getting a little tired today too. But then after that, I think he had 3 in a row, and he was really excited about that. And I love competitors that learn something new and get excited about it instead of the ones that throw a fit and kick the ball return because they think they know everything. So that was really fun to see him.
That's cool. Yeah, we did see him on this pair as he was finishing up. And yeah, that's cool that he learned something, was able to apply it and see the success, from that. Jake says he hopes Brady is okay. Yeah, we hope he's all right too. He might have taken off. I don't see him around.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Al said something about he wasn't feeling well.
Okay. Ron says, yay, now I'll learn something, but I've got to prepare for a hurricane season.
Not another one.
I know. Hopefully
Come
that stuff
on.
stays away from you. And
oh my gosh, my brother and sister-in-law are moving to the northeast corner of Tennessee literally in 2 weeks.
Okay.
They don't have a house yet. They're just living in an extended stay. But I said, are you sure you want to go? They're moving from San Antonio over. And they're like, well, we're going. So then I'm going to go down and help them drive cars over. And I said, well, I'll fly out of Asheville then, because Asheville, North Carolina is the closest airport.
Okay. And they got
The
hammered.
highway's closed.
Yeah. They got hammered during the week.
But then I saw someone chatting about the fact that the old highway was open or something. So I'll figure out how to get there. And hopefully they'll have some of these things open by then. But just craziness. Yeah. I didn't know there was another one coming through, Ron.
Yeah, neither did I. Yep, grown. Yeah, I do not envy you for that situation, and hopefully that weather stays away from you. But
Ron, can you see who's on lane 13 that just bowled? I bet you recognize that guy.
Yeah, there are fewer and fewer people every day that don't recognize that guy.
I know, that's crazy. You know, Sam Lanto said the same thing. You know, I asked him, I don't remember what it was, something about come be a celebrity or come jump on a live stream or something. And he goes, Terry, nobody knows who I am. Oh, and here's a guy that had several tours on Team USA. And you know, he's had so much illness. I feel the nicest guy in the world would do anything for you. And he's just had so much illness.
He just made a nice run at, what was it, MSC or CBA? One of the two.
I don't remember, but I'm so excited that he's back at it. I mean, really excited that he's back at it. And he's got such a great attitude. He's, you know, I remember talking to him before his latest treatment, and he's just like, you know, I've gotten through it 5 times before. This is just one more. Yep. You know, it just.
Well, that's great.
And that's the greatest attitude ever.
Oh, there you go. He won his the most recent MSC for his 4th MSC title.
That's so awesome. Yeah. Just love it. Have to say that. Just love it.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, I used to practice with him in college. And we'd go down on the lanes at Textonka. And I remember one day he said he was frustrated with my rotation. And my physical game was really good, but he was frustrated with my rotation. He's like, as strong as you are, you should have much better rotation. And he went up to the pro shop, drilled out a plastic ball. I remember it was a silver plastic ball. And he goes, now make that hook. And he goes, after you can make that hook, he goes, then I'll give you something that actually hooks, you know? And so, yeah, we go long, long, long way back.
Yeah. No, certainly one of the best to ever do it in Minnesota and really across the Midwest.
I think we need to do better as an organization in the state of Minnesota, recognizing our bowlers that have just been there, done that, you know? Like I talked to Charlie Tapp yesterday because I realized he wasn't in the Minnesota Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And so I sent him a message and I said, you know what? I'd like to nominate you for the Hall of Fame. The hard part is you have to have 15 years of bowling in the state of Minnesota. Okay. Whether it's coaching, actually bowling, just applied something in the bowling world. And
Doesn't he have that from
hoping
years ago?
I'm hoping. I haven't talked to him, so
okay.
We haven't gotten to the application portion of this yet, but he was really excited about it.
Yeah.
And that made me feel good too.
That's great.
I mean, here's a guy again that's been on the pro tour and had so many successes, and he's excited about potentially being in the Hall of Fame at Minnesota. So
Jay Santos checking in. Hi, Fef. Great tournament coverage. Thank you, sir. Jay's from California and is a frequent live viewer of Bowling with the Fef. So great to see you checking out the Champions Pro Shop Open.
Very, very nice.
Yeah. No, Charlie's great.
I saw that you had Tom Baker on your show, and who was
so it was Charlie, Tom Baker, and Joe Hutchinson.
Oh my gosh!
3 of them. So, it was great storytelling as always. You know, those guys.
I need to go back and watch it because I hit it right at the end, and I'm like, God, dang it!
Yeah, for some reason, Tommy dropped off partway through. Not sure why, because we never got him back. Hutch's battery died after a couple hours. So Charlie and I wrapped it up.
they're they're probably all 10 years older than me, approximate. And the only reason I know so much about technology is because this is what I do,
Yeah.
But it's hard if you don't think about it all. I mean, I'm sure don't jump on live stream every day.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. Jay says, good to see you again. I've been working nights the past few months, so I haven't been able to catch your live streams. And that's all right. I mean, they are there for as long as YouTube is a thing. So they'll always be there if you want to check them out on replay. And that's the beauty of this is, yeah, it's great to watch it live, but don't think you are out of luck if you can't be there when we go live, because this stuff will be there for as long as YouTube is.
And Ron, this is my youngest son, Briley, who's up on lane 12 right now.
He says, I appreciate you guys, Terry and Pfeff, got to go. So hopefully he gets a glimpse of this before he takes off.
Oh, Briley's not looking his strongest right now, but hey.
Yeah, you know me, I like to chat. Yeah, and that's great. That's my favorite part of doing this live is, the interaction.
I agree. When I live stream the flight tournaments, that's the most fun to see all the different parents, coming in, chiming in, and the ex-parents, we'll call them, I guess, or the age-out parents that are still family. And
you never know who's going to either stumble upon it or plans to see it live and is really appreciative of this stuff, which is, that's what keeps me going in it,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's such a service. It's was last year I had surgery and I wanted to watch Briley bowl and I couldn't get out of the house, and it was really fun because I think you had one tournament, I don't remember what it was, and then he was on something else that had live stream. I think Emil was live streaming on Bowl TV. So exciting.
Yeah.
Makes it nice when you can sit at home on your big screen and watch it.
Oh yeah.
And back it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have quite a mix here. We have Brandon Cryer, younger. William, younger. Josh Kennedy, his game has improved unbelievably.
Fantastic.
Exponentially.
Yeah.
But he's worked on it too.
Sure. Ron says just a chip off the blocks. Hi to Bob and B.
Riley.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell. You don't have a physical game like that without putting in some effort.
No, I know. I think it was last year. He came down here once a week and worked with Briley.
Okay.
For a long period of time, especially before team trials, and he did amazing at team trials. There are people that go out there and they think it's just league bowling, and they don't realize how tough it is.
Oh yeah. So like 4 days, 4 different patterns,
Yeah.
ton of games. Yeah.
Well, and you're bowling with the best of the best.
Yep.
It's not like you're out there with league bowlers,
Right.
So
Yeah.
the nice thing, like both of my kids like bowling team trials because of the fact that you go out there, you look at the pattern, and everyone's going to be playing the pattern very similar. Some of the larger tournaments like Junior Gold, you never know. When there's 4,000 people, they're not going to play the shot the same way. They're going to,
different houses, different days. It's,
right.
Yeah.
And they maybe haven't learned how to play it correctly. And so those are all things you have to think about. I talked to someone last week, in my class, and he said, I don't understand how one day I can have a bad day and the next day I have a really good day. And we kind of broke it down on the chalkboard, basically.
Yeah.
What was the weather like? Were you on an outside lane? Were you on an inside lane? Was there an air conditioner or heater near you? Who were you following?
Yep.
And once we got all these points down on the board, we realized that he was bowling against a team of women who all threw plastic down the middle.
Okay, so that's going to change
Exactly.
the condition out there.
And because he said, I keep leaving the entire back row. I left the entire back row. And the day before, I bowled really well. Same house, same everything. But when you're bowling against a team like that is plastic pushing all the oil down the lane,
It makes a difference.
that normal house shot that drives in is going to go away.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and you're
for
going to
sure.
get a little bit wimpier. So,
And that, that goes to those physical variables. It takes a good mental headspace. Are you feeling okay that day physically?
mm-hmm.
Are you a little under the weather? All that stuff factors in.
Or just the weather.
Yeah.
I was really worried this morning when we came in because it was warmer in the building and our air conditioning was set to a certain time to come on. And I think Al had just forgotten to let the GM know that we needed it cranked up earlier. And I was worried. I had the guys test the approaches right away because I was worried they were going to be, it's dry, but when it gets that warm. And they did a good job.
I think we're in game 3 now, by the way. I should have advanced my little, this has got to be game 3, right? Because they started 1, 2, 3. Yeah. But yeah, all those things, you think to yourself, well, it's in Owatonna, and that's where Chad and Dave Ullman are going to rule this place. Well,
Right.
Chad's a great player, and he proves it time and time again. He's here. But Dave's a great player, and he proves it time and time again, and he didn't have the greatest day today.
Yep.
And who knows why? That's his puzzle to solve. But
Well, and it's funny because when you think about it, the most, like we discussed this in the class too. This is my favorite part of teaching the bronze class is breaking it down and getting them to realize that there are 10,000 different pieces to this puzzle, not just, your 4 steps in delivering the ball.
yeah.
And we had a lot of fun with a couple different scenarios and just the thumb. The thumb is 90% of the problem in a bowling ball, right?
Oh, yeah.
And one of the gentlemen in the class kept saying, just be a two-hander. It's like, how do we resolve this? We have a tacky hand or and that's one of the hardest things to deal with is a tacky hand. It's very hard to mediate it, to release it the same way, and if you're very sweaty. And then a funnel thumb.
Yep.
If the bottom of your thumb is bigger than the top of your thumb.
That's tough too.
And a lot of ball drillers won't take the time to actually fit that the way they should fit it.
Right.
They should fit it for the top and then work it out in the bottom so that it fits correctly.
Sure. So these are the scores after 2 games of the advancers round. You can see Game 1 is actually the total from qualifying. So you can see where everyone got into this. But take a look under the Game 3 column, which is actually Game 2, at Victor Cortez, who shot a nice 287 to jump up into second. And although he's a ways away from Matt Payne with that game, he has, he's really taking a nice spot and a nice step toward the stepladder.
I don't know Victor Cortez. Where is he from?
So Victor, I know, has history in the Chicago area. I'm not sure if he's still there. But he was actually challenged, if memory serves. So here's how circular this thing is. When I came here last year, did the live stream, I talked to Mike Peck. He wanted to be on the show. So we put him on. It was a great show. He actually was bowling lead while he was talking to me, which was really cool. That was an experience that I hadn't had prior to that. And I believe he challenged Victor to be on the show. Now, we haven't worked that out yet, but I did see him at the Masters in Vegas. And I got, to meet him and chat a little bit. Victor, where are you from?
Living in Omaha, Nebraska these days.
Omaha,
Ah.
Nebraska. Okay. But you have history in Chicago?
Yeah,
Okay.
north suburbs and Waukegan, Illinois.
Gotcha. All right. So Omaha, Nebraska by way of Chicagoland. But yeah, it was cool to meet him, and that's something else. If I don't do the live stream, Mike doesn't come on. He doesn't challenge Victor. I don't meet him because I don't know to look for
I
him.
know.
You know.
Well, today was quite a mix because we had some college students. I mean, Nakagawa.
Yep.
Is from Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another boy from
Keaton Bieri, I think. Is he St. Ambrose, perhaps?
I think the three of them are all St. Ambrose, but
Okay.
originally I think I'm not sure where the other two are from. I was talking to them, and really nice kids. Because Eric Ledig is the head coach of St. Ambrose. Great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah, I've emailed back and forth with him a little bit.
Mhm.
You can tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the passion for this sport.
Oh
which is
my
awesome.
gosh.
And
There's
his
a
program
picture.
is incredible.
Oh yeah. There's a picture. I can't remember. Briley would probably remember. I think Wichita beat St. Ambrose, but it might have been the other way around. I'm not really sure. But there's a picture of Briley kind of with his arm around Eric, and it's turned into a GIF. It like goes viral all the time. Because here's Briley in his Wichita uniform and Eric in his St. Ambrose uniform, but the two of them are together. It's very cool.
It's a cool moment.
Well, and Eric is he's the first one to write a book on people that he feels that he feels are deserving of kind of his time. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Sorry. Maybe I need more caffeine. I was better this morning. He's very complimenting, and he'll take his time in giving you that information. So many of the college coaches that are out there are just wonderful. I mean, just to be a college coach, you know, the kids send their kids to school. Okay, if you're a high school coach, you're sending the kids back home to their mom and dad. If you're a college coach, you get the kids and you have to now become mom and dad.
Right.
Right?
You're in life together for 4 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've seen kids that have been amazing and done amazing things. And then I've seen kids that were so happy to be away from mom and dad, they just partied and enjoyed life, you know? So Del Warren tells a great story about that. And it's not specific to anyone. It's just, you know, parents, I'm going to take them. I'm going to try to be their father figure. And his wife, too, is absolutely the mother figure. They don't have kids. But the two of them take care of the kids down there.
Yeah.
And he's like, you never know. You never know if they're going to come down here and just be incredible, or if they're going to come down here and just relax and enjoy life, you know? And I talk about it all the time. There's the upper 2% that want to be really successful, and there's the 98% that just want to enjoy our sport.
Yeah.
And sometimes parents get in the way of that enjoyment. Like, I've never pushed my kids to do anything they didn't want to. So I was just very lucky that they enjoyed doing this with me.
Yeah.
And then I have a daughter who has a Mickey Mouse ball and just enjoys bowling with her coworkers.
Yeah.
She still enjoys it. She's part of the 98%. My other two kids are part of the upper 2%.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my son does junior leagues. You know, I may have had some influence in that, but
for sure I did.
He also has sports that he is a little more serious in and maybe enjoys a little more, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's his own person. He's got to do what he does. If he wants to do the bowling, I'll be there to support him 110%.
Yep.
But in the end, he's got to do what he wants to do and be happy with what he chooses.
Oh, and my kids played sports. They played baseball. They wrestled. They played football. And they just, as they got older, they just settled into bowling. And it was their choice. It wasn't mine. But the scholarship money that you can earn, I mean, Brennan my older son, I don't remember what Briley's was, but Brennan had $42,000
Holy cow!
by the time he went to college. You
That's
know,
great.
so. And yeah, you know, parents will argue, well, you paid for that $42,000. And I'm like, no, I paid for the education. They earned the $42,000.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So this will be the fourth game of the advancers round, and it looks like we've got Matt Payne and Victor Cortez here. So what a way to finish out this round of play.
This is a very talented group.
Yep. For sure. And they all attack it a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm. And you know what I was very surprised by that there was no one with urethane in their hand today.
I saw Victor.
I mean, it was
throw
very
a little
flat
bit,
and it was
but-
long.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but the
I didn't
majority,
notice anybody.
yeah. Brandon threw a pink widow urethane for a
Oh,
little bit. But yeah, the majority did not.
it was because it was a very flat pattern, 28 mils, I believe. Or was it 30 mils?
I can pull it up here.
So 44 feet, so a little longer than what our house shot would be. And it had how many mils? 28? Yeah,
Yeah.
28. So
It's so small, I can't read it.
I know.
Who's putting these graphics together anyway?
On somebody's big screen at home, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So you think about it, like our house shot here is 43 feet long and it's 28. No, it's 30 mils.
So let me explain, by the way, if you're just tuning in. This is game 4 on 11 and 12, but on 13 and 14, they are just finishing game 3. So, work with me here.
We are in the final stages here
Yeah.
of a very fun long day.
And this is Matt Payne and Victor Cortez, who may still be 1 and 2, but certainly were 1 and 2 after 2 games.
Well, and this is a nice payoff. I put all the envelopes together. I mean, first place is 1,500, but second place is right up there too. It's more than 1,000.
Yep.
So it doesn't fall off if you take second.
Sure.
So every pin counts here. So.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, we talked about Victor a little bit from Omaha by way of Chicago. He bowled the Masters. He does a lot of live streaming on TikTok, and you can kind of see it's not visible from our viewpoint, but he does have his phone up. So, Victor has that live stream going on TikTok of his own individual performance.
I didn't know
in
one on
this.
TikTok.
And it's great stuff. He wears a microphone, mics himself up, so you really get inside, his world with that.
And there's a lot of getting inside too. Like I was talking to Josh earlier, and he was very worked up because he had shot 165, I think it was. And I said, "Well, Josh, what are we going to do about that?"
Mm-hmm.
And he had the greatest answer, and I'm sorry I can't remember it, but it was just like. And whatever the verbiage was, it was his mental piece that he uses to settle himself down. And he came back with, I think, a 210 after that. And I was just very proud of him because a younger Josh would have lost the marathon and worried about the sprint.
Sure.
And so he did really well. He's grown so much.
That's great.
So much.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these younger kids. I mean, we've had the flight tournament now for, I think, 12 years.
Okay.
So a lot of these kids that are here have all bowled it.
Yeah.
So I always consider them my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I am super excited. Teddy Mans. I don't know if you've ever heard of Teddy Mans. I can't remember if we had him on live stream or not. Teddy had strokes when he was very young, and his left side of his body would not work. And, he played baseball until the coaches didn't want him anymore. And, he played a few sports until he was cut, basically, because he couldn't move very good with the left hand or left side of his body. Well, he started bowling our tournament series when he was, I think, 9. And he loved it so much. And that's what's so nice about bowling. You don't get cut in bowling.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
so many different opportunities.
Oh my gosh.
Venues, yeah.
And he ended up coming to a camp with us, and he just started working out a lot. And he just bowled his first collegiate tournament.
Oh, wow.
Last weekend.
Okay. Rockford?
Yep, he was in Rockford. Yep. And it's just, for me, it's so exciting to see somebody, who had been just eliminated from all the rest of the sports. And with bowling, he was
There's
included.
a place for it.
Right. Yeah. And because he was included, he worked really hard. I mean, I think about how hard he worked to get to college and to be a college athlete. And now you watch him and you wouldn't even know he has an issue. You wouldn't know. And I watched him on live stream. I didn't get to watch a lot of it, but the ball that I got to watch the first time, he just slammed the pocket. I mean, just looked like a professional bowler on a sport condition. So that was very exciting. And his mom and dad are so supportive too. Dan is one of our directors for the northern side of the state. Ooh.
Tough break.
I don't know that I've seen that combination today.
Yeah, 4-7-9. We've seen a lot of pocket 7-10s on this pair, but yeah, I don't remember seeing that one.
I know a lot of the guys were saying the challenge was repeating shots, being able to hit the head pin consistently. So,
sure.
And I didn't look at the pattern. It was USBC
Masters 2023.
Masters. Okay. Well, at least they gave you at least they gave him a single shot this time. Wasn't last year they gave him a team pattern or something? I can't remember.
I bet.
I laughed. Because I'm like, you're going to give a singles group a team pattern with a lot of oil.
Yeah.
That's going to be very ugly.
Right. So Cortez switches balls and slams home 10.
I wonder if Al has the update after 3.
No, if he does, it's not on Facebook yet. Terry just went to, presumably to ask him about it. Dana Wright checking in. Good evening, Pep. Good evening to you too, sir. Glad to see you on here. Wow. Like Briley might pick up that 2-4-8-10, but just missed the 10 on that. So, yeah, this is the 4th and final game of the advancers round. So, last chance to pick up some pins and work your way into the step ladder. Nice double there from Brandon Pryor. And Matt Payne taking care of the 10. He's got 68 through 3 and spare up in the 4th. Matt has been our top seed through the day. He started out the advancers round 213-205, which may not sound like much until you consider how difficult this pattern is. you could have 213'd and 205'd your way all the way into the top 5 if you did it every game. At least after qualifying.
All you guys want to vote for? Then you got choose.
We did get started with the advancers round a little early because we got done with qualifying a little early. So all good things, at least in my opinion. Alan looked left off his hand, but he got the break.
Allison decided it's going to be a big surprise at the end. So he's leaving 3 and 4 together.
He's holding back the info, so we're not gonna have any more updated scores. But the good part is this is the last game, so soon enough we'll know who our Stepladder finalists are. They're going to the series? So they did re-oil before the advancers round. They will not re-oil before the stepladder. That will be immediately following the advancers round and the tabulation of the scores. And that shot where he just points it up right at the pocket is paying off some more. He's got 107 through 5 with a strike in the 6th. Of course, Cortez's ball change is paying some dividends too. He's had the last 3. Earlier on, I said that Phil Stellmaker is going to let you know what he's thinking. You don't have to guess. I said the same thing about Brandon Cryer. When he gets that hit he needs, he's going to let you know. And a 4th strike in a row for Cortez. He's got that ball working. Looks like a gem. Might have a little surface on it.
That's the next step.
little light there in the 8th for Payne. And leaves a 2-pin. Yeah, he mentioned after qualifying that he didn't have to move much, maybe a board. And similar situation for him here in the advancers round. Brandon Cryer just getting a little sliver of that 3-pin. And follows that up with a strike in 8th frame. He's got 158 through 7, and that strike up. And Payne with a strike of his own in the 9th, 166 through 8 with a strike in the 9th. Now Cortez working on 5 in a row. He left that not really a big split, but 4-7-9 in the 3rd, switch balls, and has been packing them ever since. Immediately following the conclusion of the advancers round, they'll tabulate the scores and let us know who made the stepladder final, and then we will continue with that right here on 11 and 12. You'll see the whole thing right here live, same link. So make sure and stick around for that as we crown a Champions Pro Shop Open champion. Second installment of this tournament, and it's been a dandy. Oh, a little high, but he brings that 4-pin forward and keeps the string alive. Little applause from Payne. And he'll get up there for his second shot in the 10th frame. Just a great performance today by really all 4 of these competitors that you see on the 2 pairs here. Cortez caught fire in that second game of the advancers round, shooting 287. And he's certainly got his striking shoes on once again. Little hiccup in the early going, but he's going to finish big. And if he hits this one, he can finish it out in the 250s. That one jumped up a little bit, left to 6-9. So assuming he picks this up, he'll be at 242. So great way to finish out the the advancers round, and although I don't know his standing at this point, a great run for him through this tournament. Our tournament director, Al Houston, will tabulate the totals and will reveal the top 5 after it's all said and done. So a 242 for Victor Cortez. Just a great finish for him. Now, Matt Payne, 10th frame. He's got 166 through 8, strike up in the 9th, imploring that ball to push a little bit, but leaves a 4-pin. And covers that up with no problem.
Yep.
Strike on the fill ball, and he will finish at 206. What's been a tremendous tournament for Matt Payne. So 206. Finish things off for Matt Payne, who started off as our number 1 qualifier. Top seed after qualifying. We've got a couple of the bowlers on either end of us finishing up. William Jones is off to the right there. He's got a couple frames to go, as does Keaton Vieri. Brady Gustafson finishing things up to the left on lane 10. A 189 over there for Brady Gustafson. Brandon Pryor finishes with 205. Briley Howe 163. So I'll put this up, and this is the most recent set of scores that I have to report right now. But again, this is 2 games ago, so remember that. And once folks on the end are done with their 4th game, it's time to put the scores together and reveal who will be in our top 5 stepladder. And these are the last couple bowlers just getting finished up there. Brandon Cryer just said, not getting a Game 3 update is pretty suspenseful. And yeah, I think that's what he's going for. A little suspense here. So 221 for Jones. Vieri finishing up there. He's got 143 in his last game. And on the end, Brent Newman has 147 through 9, and he's hit the first strike in the 10th. And he puts it through the face for a split, so he'll be in the 160s. Chad Nelson is on 18. That's where he'll finish up his advancers round. He's got 151 through 8 with a strike in the 9th. So there you have it. Up high and gets that 4 to carry. So still got a shot at 211 there if he can hit 2 more. Again, our stepladder final will be on 11 and 12 here, right in front of us. And Nelson hits his 3rd in a row. And he'll throw his fill ball, and that'll be it for the advancers round. Remember, we'll be back with the Stepladder final right here. Same link, same stream. Don't go anywhere. And there you have it. 2:11 for Chad Nelson. And that'll do it for the advancers round. So as we wait for the scores, we'll just put up the upcoming events page there so you can see the next few stops in the quintuple crown. And we'll be right back with the finalists.
You want to help me?
Day 2047.
So Josh Kennedy is the 5th seed.
Chad will be 3rd, 2073. Victor's your 2 seed, 2094. And then Matt is your 1 seed, 2224. Your stepladder pair is going to be on 11 and 12. All the games will be done on 11 and 12. You start off 2 shots on each lane. Each round, each player will get 2 shots to get set up before the game starts. Your 6th through 10th, I'll be walking around to hand envelopes out.
So that was fast. We're going to have Brandon Cryer against Josh Kennedy to open up our stepladder, and we'll get some of the particulars as we go here. These are just practice balls.
2 shots on each lane. You don't need any. There you go. Thanks for bowling. Appreciate it. No, they're not.
So it's Brandon Cryer and Josh Kennedy finishing up their warm-ups. Chad Nelson, Victor Cortez, and Matt Payne round out the top 5 finalists. And that's how we'll do this. So they finish up 2 shots on each lane. And here we go. So it'll be Josh Kennedy starting out on lane 11. Kennedy, if you'll remember, was just a house of fire when he started out in qualifying. 212, 279, 223 to start things out. A little wrinkle in the 4th game of qualifying, but finished relatively strong. Starts out with a washout here in our first stepladder match. Ooh, and just sends the 1 around the 10. So he'll start out with 9 in the first. And that brings us to Brandon Cryer, who was out of the cut after 5 games of qualifying and fired a 290 to get himself in. That's the pocket, but leaves a flat 7. Terry mentioned earlier that you didn't see a whole lot of urethane going down the lane. Brandon is one of the few people who was utilizing urethane for at least part of this, and he's throwing that pink Widow urethane right now as well. Brandon's father, of course, Minnesota USBC Hall of Famer John Cryer Jr. And when he came on the show, he said more than once that Brandon is coming into his own. And it wasn't too long after that that he won the very first CBA that he entered. So puts 10 back in the second and opens up an 11-pin lead on Josh Kennedy. strike for Kennedy.
Thanks, guys. Drive safe. Good to see you again.
And makes it a double.
Oh.
So that'll put a little early pressure on Brandon to keep it going. Another 10 back for Brandon to keep that lead intact. And another. So a 3-bagger for Brandon Cryer, who extends that lead over Josh Kennedy.
Sorry, I had
11 and 12 haven't yielded a ton of big scores, but Kennedy kind of flipped the script on that when he shot 279 here in the second game of qualifying. And shoots it past the head pin and leaves a washout. Yeah, the only thing that stopped him was a solid 9 on a flush pocket hit. Oh, and throws the one right around the 10. Yet again. Tough break. 63 through 4. And he will be continue to work from behind as Cryer's got the last 3 to build up a lead here. About 47-pin lead by my count. And as Kennedy smacks out the 10. Now he's really got to keep the strikes going if he wants to have any chance here.
All right. Good luck, Jeff. Good luck, Have a good one, guys.
And gets the right side to crumble. And Cryer's got 4 in a row. Cryer, if you remember last year's event, was in our stepladder. I believe he was the 3 seed. It's either the 3 seed or the 2 seed. As he hits his 5th in a row. He likes playing the twig. Brock mentioned it earlier. And he had the ability to play that line last year, just like he does this year. Last year he was swinging plastic out to the ditch. But he commented that that was out of play this year. And yet another washout on lane 12 for Kennedy. And got that one. So cut that head pin a little bit thinner, and it took down the 10.
Hey, we're officially caught up.
All right.
Yeah, a lot of movement there down the stretch.
Yeah. No, exciting stuff. And
except for Matt. Matt's just been on fire all day.
He's this year's Dave Ullman, and I'm not saying that because of where Dave finished last year, but certainly what he did before.
Are you trying to put a jinx on Matt?
I'm not jinxing anybody.
I don't believe in jinxes. Brandon looks like he's got pretty darn good reaction. This is a shot maker. Brandon's one of them.
Turning out not to be much of a match, but that's because Cryer has the pedal to the metal.
I think these two have bowled a few times together.
I believe that. So who finished in 6th, just outside of the...
So 6th was Brent. He just missed it by about 10 pins or so.
Okay.
Yeah, Brent missed it by about 10 pins. And then there's a little gap after that.
Okay.
Yeah, because whoever wins this, they go on to play Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Local hometown hero. I like to say that.
You do.
Actually, on Thursday nights, I bowl with the son here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been trying to get him to come down and give us tips, but...
10 stands. But this is pretty much garbage time right now.
Yeah.
Brandon will face Chad Nelson, as mentioned, in the second match of the Stepladder. Chad finished the A squad of qualifying in second. I believe he was plus 92, and that was good for third after both squads were done.
I think my favorite part of the day is always at the end when I get to hand them their check and shake their hands.
Oh,
always
yeah.
my favorite part.
That's
Say
fun.
thank you for bowling. Thanks for the support, you know.
And come on back and do it again.
Yeah. I'm still waiting to hear if you're going to make it to the holiday match games this year.
Oh, well,
I
think we can arrange
was
that.
hoping for you to come back both days again. We had a blast last year, you know.
Yeah.
A couple strong days of bowling between the adult and youth bowling. That's the fourth leg of this. The 10K Quintuple Crown is the holiday match game. So that's one I run, because the one on the 23rd, that'd be Heilman's event.
Okay.
And then on the 21st, that'll be one that Tony Khan is actually the tournament director of that. He's been doing it for years and years and years. I just kind of help along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always fun to go to Rochester. Obviously, I was there before I got here. But then Sunday's the youth event, so we pack the house. It's the MJBT event.
Yeah. I will double check the calendar.
Yeah, I'm hoping you can.
Assuming my calendar's clear, I'll pencil me in.
All right.
So 253.
Holy shit! What is he doing?
Oh my
Excuse
gosh.
my language.
Things are getting weird. 253 for Brandon Cryer, and Josh Kennedy will finish out his tournament here in the 10th frame. $500 will go home with him, and an outstanding performance today. But he just ran into a buzzsaw. I mean, you know, that kind of thing happens. So 253 to 192, and it will be Brandon Cryer moving on to face 3 seed Chad Nelson.
Two on each. Yep.
Couple of warm-up tosses for Nelson before we get things started here. We were talking upcoming events in the 10K Larson Siding, Windows, and Roofing Quintuple Crown Lacrosse Open on November 23rd at Playmore Lanes in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Then we head back to Rochester for the holiday match games December 21st, with the junior event to follow on the 22nd, and the TBD event on February 1st, 2025 at J. Mo's in Faribault, just up the road here in South Central Minnesota. Again, some practice tosses for Chad Nelson. Winner of this match will face our 2 seed, Victor Cortez. And the winner of that one takes on our number 1 seed, Matt Payne. John Cryer says, rooting for the lefty. I would be surprised if you weren't. But yeah, the lefty has put on quite a show today. .290 in that last game of qualifying to get him into the cut. He made the most of it. Finishing the advancers round with the 4th seed and winning his first match 253 to 192. All right. Well, we are about to get things started here in our second match of our stepladder final between Brandon Cryer and Chad Nelson. And Nelson starts out with a strike. And we are underway. So Chad, with plenty of history here at Spare Time Entertainment in Owatonna. Doesn't bowl league here anymore, but certainly understands the tendencies of this place, as he's bowled here a time or two before. Brandon goes up high and trips out the 4-7, and we are all knotted up after a frame. I mentioned the show that I was on with Brandon's father, John Cryer Jr., and he was there for that time. They were both in their hotel room at Junior Gold. That seems like such a long time ago, but probably wasn't all that long ago. But a lot has happened since then. Like I said, Brandon has won a CBA title. He's made some nice runs at Chippewa Valley match games and was a part of the stepladder final in last year's Champions Pro Shop Open. And that championship went to Brady Stearns in the end. And a spare for Cryer in the second. Now on to Chad Nelson's second frame. Another 10 back. It's been a rather, relatively warm day in Minnesota today. It's still about 70 outside, but it's been rather comfortable in here, at least for those of us just watching. Haven't really heard one way or the other from the players, but seems like everybody's doing just fine. So Nelson's got a 310 baby split to deal with here in the third frame. And slides it past 3, just takes the 10. So he's got 56 through 3. And Brandon can put some pressure on with a strike or two in the third and fourth frames. So now Brandon is standing in front of the ball return on that right lane. Still playing that extreme outside line. Crossed over, and he'll try and cover up a 7-pin. And makes quick work of that. So he'll have 39 through 2 with a spare up in the third. And a strike will give him a lead of 3 pins. He's playing that same outside line, but that one goes up through the nose, and he's got a 6-7 split in front of him.
I know.
Ooh, didn't cut it quite thin enough, but good try nonetheless. He's got 66 through 4, and that'll bring Nelson up to the approach in the fourth frame.
Okay, Tim.
And puts 10 back. To see Chad bowl in different tournaments and different houses, different patterns, you can really get a sense for his versatility. I mean, he's playing very straight up the lane on this pattern, but he can get left and bring it back all the same. Goes with what works and does it very well. So that one sliding right of the head pin, and he takes care of the 1, 2, and 8. So he's got 76 through 4. And we are just about knotted up here. Now here's Cryer. Pounds 10 back. So 66 through 4 with that strike up in the 5th. And again, another good chance to apply a little pressure if you can double up here. Big thank you to everyone who is tuning in live and those on replay. If you like what you're seeing, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Doesn't cost a dime, and you'll be the first to know when we post new videos, go live, and all that great stuff. And splashes out the right side, gets that double. So let's see how Chad responds now. Struck the last time up on this lane. Basically going straight up, pointing it right up to the pocket, similar to how Matt Payne was doing it, but just a touch inside. And that one got left off his hand, and he's left with the 3-6-10. Winner of this match will move on to face our 2-seed, Victor Cortez. The loser will go home with $650. So for Nelson, 93 through 5 with a spare up in the 6th. Cryer's got 66 through 4 with a double in the 5th and 6th. So pretty important for Nelson to start getting some strikes together to catch up. Shook out the 5, but not the 7. And he'll take aim at that in his 7th frame. No problem there. 112 through 6 with that spare up in the 7th. And now Cryer with chance to extend his lead. Way out there to the ditch and right back. Pounds the pocket. Nothing stands, and he's had the last 3 now. Got distracted and pulled up. Good move. He'll reset himself and start over. No shot clock on this thing, so he can take his time. And another perfect strike. So 4-bagger for Cryer. He's rolling. 126 through 6 with a double up. And Nelson's going to need to put some strikes together here quickly and get some help, he's going to have a chance. There's one of them. Shook out the right side of the left side of the rack, rather. And he has 132 through 7 with that strike in the 8th. Now here's his 9th frame on lane 11. $10 back. So he can still strike out for 222. Brandon hits his 5th in a row. And if he keeps it clean with some good count, he will be moving on. That one went up high, left him a 2-7 rather. So he makes the spare and gets good count. He can shut out Nelson, but if he doesn't, Nelson would still have a chance. He's got the possibility of a 222 up there, and Cryer would need to go spare strike to get a 224. Nice cover there, and that'll just about wrap it up. He'll just need some count. 9 pins will do it. Corey Hansen wants to know, can anyone do the Open in Wisconsin, or do you have to do all these events? High school bowling goes on, can't make most events. I am not sure about that, Corey. Probably want to get a hold of the state association just to be sure. wibowl.com. We'll have that information, and Brandon Cryer takes down the 9 pin for 224, and he's moving on. Victor Cortez lying in wait. He is our 2 seed. And Chad Nelson will take home $650 for a 4th place finish. And the beat goes on for Brandon Cryer, who is mowing down his opponents with efficiency in this stepladder thus far. So 224, 198 is the score in that one. Chad Nelson finishing 4th, another terrific performance today. And a nice pocket full of money yet again. For Mr. Nelson. So we've reached our semifinal match as Victor Cortez warms up. It's not that long.
Taking a couple breaks. You were not during a break. You just
Nope.
signed up.
I divided it up in 3 different lengths. So
And I didn't forget about you.
Okay.
So I
no worries. I will be here. Oh, no, I'm good. Thank you, though. All right. So our semifinal match, it's Brandon Cryer against the 2 seed Victor Cortez. Cryer coming off games at 253 and 224. And trying to keep this run going. Starts out the right way. That urethane ball still working well for him. Throwing it right up the twig and reaping the benefits. Now, Victor Cortez, here's our first look at Mr. Cortez in the stepladder. Our 2nd seed, coming to us from Omaha, Nebraska, and starting out with a solid strike. I told Terry the story a little while ago, but last year at this event, Mike Peck was one of the participants. He came on the show, had a great conversation with him. He was bowling league while we were talking, which was pretty cool. We made that work. I believe Mike challenged Victor to come on a future episode as he starts out with a double. And then shortly after that, while I was in Las Vegas for the USBC Open Championships, it happened to be the same week as the USBC Masters. So we went and checked that out when we weren't bowling, and Victor was competing in that event. So introduced myself and we chatted a little bit. Great to see him here as Cryer hits a double of his own, so we're knotted up after 2 frames. And yeah, it's cool that I got to meet him. Now, Victor is also a TikToker. He has a TikTok page that he goes live from, and he's not giving that a break right now. In fact, his phone is hoisted up on a tall tripod on the other side of lane 11, and he's been streaming his individual performance today on his TikTok page, and it's a great watch. He bowls tournaments and leagues and streams it live on TikTok. Good stuff. And now he'll try and keep pace with Brandon Cryer, who has hit the front three in the semifinal match. And there's a slap in the face. Pocket 7-10. Certainly not the first we've seen on this pair. And he'll take a shot at it hard and straight at that 10 pin. He came close to making one on this lane before, but that one's going in the right ditch. So he's got 54 through 3 and some work to do to keep pace. So I heard Victor talking with somebody. He is originally from the Chicagoland area and told somebody else here that he's a fan of the Cubs. We won't hold that against him. That one went high, and he'll try and take down that 3-6 spare. And takes those two down rather easily. So 54 through 3 with that spare up in the fourth. And now Cryer up in his fourth frame, perfect through 3. Stands right at the front of that ball return, and here he goes. And that one went up through the nose and left a 4-7-8. Not the worst of results there, as as an excess pin falls from the table there. Can't say I've ever had that happen before, he tells the crowd.
What's up? Yep. Step over it so the camp, right? Yep. And does it need to be set up somewhere? I just kicked it out. I got it. All right.
And there goes Al. Deadwood removal expert, Al Houston. So as we wait during this little break in the action, we'll remind you of the upcoming events in the 10K Larson Siding, Windows, and Roofing Quintuple Crown, the La Crosse Open, on November 23rd at Playmore Lanes in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Always a great event there. And then the holiday match games at Colonial Lanes in Rochester. Hopefully I'll be seeing you there. Everything works out with my schedule. I'll hopefully be live streaming there. And then the TBD event on February 1st, 2025 at JMO's in Faribault, Minnesota. The 5 jewels of the quintuple crown. Hard and straight at that 3-pin combination and picks it up without a problem. So he's got 77 through 3 with a spare up in the 4th. Hey, can you wait until after the Stepladder so I can live stream that too? 10 back for Cryer, and he is rolling 97 through 4 with that strike up in the 5th. We've seen him do it in the first 2 matches, and off to a great start here in the semifinal. Now Cortez with 54 through 3 and a spare up in the 4th. Trying to make up some ground. Time to start striking. Got that one a little farther left of the others he's thrown on that lane. A little bit high, left a 4-pin. And takes that down with no problem. Victor Cortez, probably the highlight of the advancers round, which unfortunately I didn't get to put eyes on because it was off on one of the other pairs, but he shot 287 in the second game to shoot up the standings, and that's why he's here in the semifinal match. 10 back for Victor, and he's got 93 through 5 with a strike up in the 6th. Pryor's still up by more than 30 as he enters his 6th frame. A light hit, and can't shake out that 7-pin, but not a bad result. A big part of this is not so much the shots that you throw really well, but the ones that don't go your way and don't leave you with a split, because there's a ton of them out there. As we saw Victor leave that pocket 7-10 in the 3rd. Pryor takes care of the spare, 117 through 5 with the spare up. And still a lead of 14. Solid strike in the 7th. He's got 137 through 6 with that strike up. And now it's starting to get a little late. Victor needs to turn this strike into a string and get a little help. He liked that. You could tell. The result was a good one. Messenger headpin taking out that 10 with some authority. And that's a big double for him. Keeps him in the match, but he's got to keep it going. Light hit. Takes down the 2, but leaves the 8-10. That's a backbreaker at this point in the match. You hear the pin fall off to the right as our top seed, Matt Payne, gets loose. Cortez now with 149 through 8. And again, Cryer in that situation where he really just needs to keep it clean, and he will cruise to the championship match.
It doesn't matter whoever
Half pocket hit leaves that lazy 7 pin.
You need to go over there and drink that water. We'll have that water.
And gets that spare right on out of there. Yeah, this has really been a fantastic event from the start. Kudos to Mr. Houston and his staff for putting on a heck of an event. Oh. So the 8-10 stood for a second, but he got the 8 out of there. And makes quick work of the 10 pin. So 176 through 8, spare up in the 9th. It's do or die time for Cortez. He's got to have them all and then hope for some kind of crazy low count and just a ton of help, because this one is just about light hit. That'll do it. So it'll be Brandon Cryer moving on yet again to our championship match, where he will take on our top seed, Matt Payne. Cortez will go home with $800. Not a bad payday for third place. a 177 finish for Cortez. Again, $800 for third place. And 222 for Brandon Cryer. Fantastic showing for Cortez. $800 to take back to Omaha with him. We're going to have our championship match coming in just a second as Mr. Payne gets loose on the championship pair. $1,500 to the winner of this thing. Second place is going to get a smidge over 1,000 too, so nice payday for these folks. Again, just some warm-up for Matt Payne as he gets set to take on Brandon Cryer. All right, here we go. Championship match time. Brandon Cryer versus Matt Payne. Cryer has advanced from the 4 seed as he starts out with a strike, defeating Josh Kennedy, Chad Nelson, and Victor Cortez. And he is trying to complete a run of the ladder, and is just one win away from doing it. Now, Matt Payne, who came through qualifying with like a house of fire, and did what he's done most of the day and pound strikes. After qualifying, I asked him how much he had moved during that 6-game block. He said maybe a board. Not a bad way to do it. Looks like he isn't going quite as straight, at least not on that right lane, but on the left, same result. So a quick double, and we've got a match. Here's Cryer. He had 699 for his first 3 games in the stepladder. And that one goes through the face, and seeing a little adversity for the first time in the finals here. I mean, nobody's really been within 25 of them. Ooh. Looked like he had a nice shot at that, but just put it right past the 6 pin. So an early deficit as he has 26 through 2. And Payne on the bench with a 34 pin lead. That one went up a little high, left a 6 pin. So he'll try and chase that down. Kiefer Newman, one of our competitors today, says big shout out to Al and staff along with Fef. Tournament live stream were top notch today. You know it's top notch because you were here. No, thank you. Really appreciate the kind words. Glad to see you bowling here again. Hope to see you in Rochester. And lacrosse, if you can make it there as well. Terry says thank you to all the competitors today. It was really fun to watch. I will echo that sentiment. Great bowling. The whole day through. There's some fantastic, talented players on a very demanding condition. Doing the things I wish I could do. That one went left, but no worries there. Snaps the 10 out. He's got the front 4 and a big lead. And for the first time during the stepladder finals, Brandon Cryer is playing from behind. Really, when you think about it, both of these guys are playing pretty similarly to how they have all day. The lazy 10-pin finds its way to the ditch, and he'll take it. 46 through 3 with that strike up in the 4th. But yeah, the pattern this tough, to be able to kind of settle in and stick with the same approach the whole day long. Not bad. That one was a Finished a little behind the head pin, and he's got a 3.679 to deal with. And he'll take out 2, so 72 through 5, and a big hole to dig himself out of. Payne's going to try and keep the pedal to the floor here, as he's off to a tremendous start. The front 4 up now on lane 12 in the 5th. I fell off on that one a little bit and went up through the face, leaving him a 4.67. And that's the kind of thing he's been able to avoid most of the day. So, unfortunate timing, but he's got a lead to work with, so he'll take the count. And the 115 through 5. And a 43 pin lead in his pocket. Try and reset himself and come back with a strike in the 6th. Up high, left solid 9. Pretty good shot, just didn't get the break. That ball went straight through the 5. And spare there in the 6th. Without delay, was Brandon up to start up his 6th frame. He needs some strikes, and he needs them now. That's a good start. Nice light hit, splashed out the right side of the rack, and still some time here. But needs to keep striking and hope for some help. Big thank you to everyone who is watching live here in the championship match of the Champions Pro Shop Open. Brandon Cryer, the 4 seed, winning 3 matches in this step ladder to get to this point, but he's in a bit of a hole against top seed Matt Payne. He's trying to dig himself out. There's a good way to do it. So 72 through 5 with the double in the 6th and 7th. Payne is working on a spare in the 6th. He's got 115 through 5. Let's see what he does here in the 7th. He left that big split, that 4.67, last time up on this lane. And that one went high as well, leaving him with a 3.610. Got all 3. So a nice shot for Payne, and I'll try and get back aboard the strike train here in the 8th. Oh, got that messenger to knock out the 10 pin. And that's a good spot for Payne there, 152 through 7 with a strike up in the 8th. And that's really going to put the pressure on Cryer. He can still punch out for 222, but he's got to hit these first two and apply a little pressure on Payne to finish. Nice shot there on lane 12. He'll finish on that lane. And he's hit the last two strikes there. Not out of it yet, but he's going to need to keep striking and get some help from Payne, who has done a lot of striking today. That one went right through the face, and he didn't like that one bit. 2-4-7-8. And not an easy spare by any stretch, especially on this. And hard and straight, took down all four. So 148 through 8. The spare up means he's got to punch out for 198. Payne can mark a couple times. He will be the champion. Got that one through the heads a little better and splashed out the left side of the rack.
Yeah, I know you don't.
And a little count, and this thing is going to be done. And another strike, and that will do it. You know, the way he went about his business today, not the biggest piece of eye candy.
Trying to go
you see
viral
that
or what?
shot going straight up the lane, and plenty of speed, but boy was it effective. There it is, 242, and with an exclamation point, Matt Payne is your 2024 Champions Pro Shop Open champion. $1,500 his way. Brandon Cryer will take home a little more than $1,000 for his second place finish, and a fantastic tournament for all involved. Brandon finishing strong here. He will take home that second place finish. Plenty of cash.
I got 20 cents, you will.
All right, 242 to 187. And Matt Payne accepting handshakes all around, and he is your champion. We're going to, let me spin the camera around here. I'll be back in just a second. Hopefully we can get a word with the champ after just a moment here. All right. Champs in the building.
Hello.
Congratulations. What a day.
What a day it was. It's a very long day, but very rewarding.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
For sure. How's it feel, first of all?
Awesome. This feels great. I mean, this is my pattern, a painful pattern or whatever they want to call it. But yeah, no, I like it. This is awesome. I'll do this every time if I could.
It's kind of funny that Brandon was the one to call it that, and then you end up matched up in the championship.
Yeah, well, hey, he named it.
Yep.
I just had to follow through.
For sure. Tell me about the time between the A squad and the advancers round.
Yeah.
You had quite a few hours.
I did.
What'd you do?
I bounced around. I watched a bunch of people bowl. I watched Brent, who almost snuck me out for high qualifier. That one, I was chewing my nails on that one a little bit. I mean, it ended up not being a big deal, but you never know.
Yep.
He was within 5 pins of me, and he could have leapfrogged me. I could have been second, third. You never know. And so I watched him pop 279 that last game, and I was like, you were short. And that's all that mattered. But, it was fun. I got to watch a bunch of different styles of people playing different parts of the lane, doing different things with it. It was good. I mean, it was long. I'd rather not wait that long. I'd rather continue bowling, but it was good.
Yeah, looked like you kind of went about your business in the advancers round.
Yeah.
held serve. And
I did, yeah, and I lost a little bit of reaction because I went 2-teen, 2-0, 2-teen, 2-0 for those 4 games, but it was enough. Someone asked me, if I was looking around, and I said, yeah, I look around just to see if there's a huge game, because if there's a big game, then I got to figure out who it was, and maybe I make a ball change. I made a ball change in the match the title match here, based off of what Brandon was doing. I mean, Brandon was striking a lot.
Yeah.
And I knew I needed something a little more pop. I mean, the other ball I was throwing, the Zen Soul, I knew I was going to get 2-0. 2-0 was almost guaranteed. I felt like I needed more.
Yeah.
And I threw a phase 2 down there, and it shaped really well. And I went, well, we better throw that over you got 2 shots in each lane. I did that over on that. And it looked really good. I still almost didn't go to it. And I told myself, well, at this point, what do you got to lose? You have to have a good game, because Brandon's not going to lay down for me. So,
right.
And so I went to it, and it was a good reaction. It was good, other than the one bad shot that I went through the face for that 4-6-7 or whatever that I left.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was probably one of the more gutsy ball changes for me, because I wasn't exactly sure what that phase 2 was going to do, especially not knowing what we got down here. But it's good that I got a couple shots with it before we bowled. I had an idea, but
yeah, you start out with the first 4 in the championship match.
Yep.
And really put some pressure on Brandon that he hadn't seen in the Stepladder.
Yeah, and you're right. It was, because everybody else, they didn't lay down, but they weren't striking. It was spares. They were clean, but that allowed Brandon to get a little more comfortable and strike and do what he does, which is just pipe it off the ditch right at the head pin, and it worked great. And I thought for sure he was going to be the one posting 240 at me. So yeah, it's good to get a hot start like that, because you're right, it does put a little bit of pressure on it. So
you mentioned that split in the middle of the game, 4-6-7. What'd you do to adjust and come off of that? And
so I kind of missed. So I kind of missed in a little bit on 12. I kind of missed in, but it was a miss in, kind of pulled in, and so I knew it was just a bad shot. I just needed to make a better shot, and then I actually pulled again the next time on that, and I got away with it and left a 4-pin. And so at that point, it was just like, all right, just calm down. I took a couple deep breaths, like you're not out of this, just regroup, and it helped that I was able to strike on 11 to allow myself to then be a little more free on 12 to be able to throw shots, and it does help when your opponent, he opened, or he didn't fill, and it that helps a lot.
Sure.
So, but thank you. It's just takes taking my time. A lot of times I get in trouble is because I'm going too quick and my feet get fast, and then I pull through and stuff like that. So it's just I have to remind myself, like, hey, calm down, slow feet. And it's exactly what happened when I pulled that for that split.
Yeah. So $1,500 is a nice payday.
It is a very nice payday, and it pays off through this really long day of sitting around bowling. But this is awesome, and I appreciate everything Al's done. I mean, him getting the sponsor fee money and just putting the tournaments on. This is awesome. Yeah. I wish more people would have taken advantage of this, because there's a lot of money to be had. Yeah. This is a tournament. Any of these tournaments, you gets money in every one of them. So everybody should come out and bowl them. I mean, they're well run, every one of them. I don't know that I've hit one that's been bad. Yeah. So if anybody's listening, come on out and bowl these. They're to be bowled. These are awesome.
Great to hear. What's next for you? I mean, do you have events coming up in the weeks ahead?
So no. Well, yes, I'll bowl the doubles, the CBA doubles at Mermaid, but that's at the end of the month. Nothing until then, really. Okay. I bowled the back-to-back weekends. I bowled in St. Cloud last weekend and bowling this one. Wife would probably disown me if I continue to try to go down that road. So I'll back off bowling for a couple weekends, and we'll go from there.
And will we see you in lacrosse?
Yes. Yeah. My plan is to be there. Because it's on a weekend, on a Saturday that we don't have a CBA to follow. There's nothing to run off of. So I'll be there. Yeah. There's no reason not to at this point. I won this. I got points.
You got points.
Gotta go.
You get to be in Wisconsin.
Right. Oh yeah. Beautiful Wisconsin.
What's better than that?
Not much.
Not much. Good answer. Matt Payne, your 2024 Champions Pro Shop Open champion. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Best of luck moving forward, and thanks to all
and
of you.
thank you for streaming this. This is awesome.
You bet. Happy to do it. Glad those of you who were watching live and on replay did so. I appreciate it. And from Owatonna, Minnesota, see ya. Have a good night.
Thank you for watching Bowling with the Fef. Pound the like button and subscribe button. It's the easiest way to support the channel, and it's free. Bowling with the Fef is brought to you by Chip Magnet. Raise your snack standards. Email bowlingwiththefef@yahoo.com with questions or to appear on the show. You can also reach out on your favorite social media platform.